Hi, it's Chrissy again, and today I have for y'all my May book haul. And I wasn't going to buy any books in the month of May because I'm going to BOOKCON. By the way, this time, next week, I'll be at BOOKCON. But, yeah, I bought books. But I wasn't going to buy any books because of BOOKCON, and yeah, I did. Then I graduated, and I wanted to celebrate. And I kind of just like am living in a town that is like an hour and a half from the closest bookstore. So I bought books. But books! Yay! Never a bad thing. Never. So to the books. First I have The Geography of You and Me by Jennifer E. Smith. Now, I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of contemporary. I don't read very many straight romantic contemporaries. But this one kind of intrigued me because it starts with the two characters get locked in an elevator, and for some reason that premise is really interesting to me, the relationship that can occur when you're stuck in a space like that. Anyways, I don't know why, but it intrigued me. I got it, and it's one of the contemporaries I plan on reading this summer. Next, I have Salvage by Alexandra Duncan. Sure. Anyways, I am really excited about this book. I don't know all that much about it. What I do know is that it's basically like a male-dominated world, and this is the oldest daughter of a very important man, and she's supposed to do all of these things that, you know, women, when you're in a man's world, like a man-dominated world, but she kind of refuses to and ends up on an island of some sort, and it's sci-fi. I think they're like aboard a ship most of the time, or like that's where they start off, is the ship. But I'm really excited about this book. I don't know why. I'm intrigued by it. I want to read this book. I'll let you know. Next, I have White Space by Ilsa J. Beck, and I'm probably mispronouncing that name as well. What I've heard about this book is people comparing it to Inception, and I love that movie. I love those movies when you don't really know what's real and what's not. I like movies and books that I can't predict, that I don't really know what's going on, and that seems what this book is going to be like. And it's basically the girl has some sort of ability to kind of slip into other people's minds and their lives, and there's something crazy happens, and she doesn't know what's real anymore. She doesn't know if she's real. She doesn't know what's going on, and I am so excited. This is one I'm really excited about. All of those books I got on my graduation celebration book spree. Yes. And so are these next few also from that same graduation celebration spree. And first I have Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. This is also contemporary, when I don't usually read contemporaries, but I hear it's absolutely awesome. It has tons and tons of awards, and I really want to read this. Like, really bad. It helps that I really like Aristotle. I know that it's not the real Aristotle, but I don't know, for some reason that draws me in. I want to read this book. I'm excited, and it's high on my to-read list. Next, I have The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, and I haven't read anything by Neil Gaiman, which I think is totally ridiculous because everything I've heard about him seems like he is like the perfect author for me. So I need to read his books. I really need to. Barnes & Noble's in town, not this town, but the town I was in, we didn't have like any Neil Gaiman except for The Graveyard Book. I finally found it, and honestly this book sounds so interesting to me. It's about a boy named Nobody who is raised in a graveyard because his family gets killed, and just, it's perfect. And I've heard great things about it, and great things about the illustrations in it. So I'm really looking forward to this book. Next, I have 4 Seconds to Lose, which I've already showed y'all One Tiny Lie and 10 Tiny Breaths, which are by K.A. Tucker. It's like a companion novel series, and this is the 3rd book. I haven't read the 2nd one. I read the 1st one and absolutely loved it. It's new adult contemporary. I do tend to like new adult contemporaries. When I do contemporaries, I tend to like new adult. And the main character in this one owns a strip club, and that makes you think he's going to be a horrible guy, but having read the first book and in being introduced to his character already, he's actually a really, really sweet guy, and he takes care of a lot of people, and just, I'm looking forward to finding out more about his story. And I don't know much about the girl because the girl wasn't in the first book. But, next. Okay, what started this graduation celebration spree was I was actually looking for a hardcover copy of the selection because I was going to a signing where Kiera Cass was going to be, and I wanted to have them all in hardback. Couldn't find one, but after going to Barnes & Noble's, I went to Hastings looking for that book, and I did not find it. But what I did find that Barnes & Noble's hadn't had for like a year is Shatter Me by Tara Moffey. And I want to read this. I've been wanting to read this series, but they haven't had the first book in the series at the store. And I can't read the second or third one without reading the first one. So it was so frustrating. But now I have it. And now I might wait until I can get all 3 of them in paperback to read them. Or I might go ahead and read it and just forget that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm excited. The last book I got on that little spree was Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. And this is the first Rainbow Rowell book I've ever read. And I really enjoyed it. I laughed and I smiled through the whole thing. I really liked it. It just didn't leave an impression afterwards. It's one of those books, like, I loved reading it. I don't know if it'll last. I don't know if it'll stay with me. And I liked it. And I want to read Fangirl and Eleanor and Park still. But I think maybe I just had too high of expectations because it was Rainbow Rowell. But like I said, I was laughing and smiling, and I loved the characters. There was nothing wrong with this book. There wasn't anything wrong with this book. So if you like contemporaries, I'm sure you're going to love it. It didn't stick with me. And I like books that stick and make you think. And yeah. Next, I have The Taking by Kimberly Durteen, and she was also at that signing, and she was also at that signing with Kiera Cass, so I got it signed. Yeah, signed. This book is about a girl who, like, disappears. This book is basically, well, from the main character's point of view, she had a fight with her dad, and then wakes up, blinks, and the next day wakes up in the alley behind the gas inset. But for everybody else, she's been gone for 5 years. Disappeared, voila, nowhere to be found for 5 years. And 5 years have passed. Everyone has aged 5 years. She hasn't. And just really, really good book. I've talked about it a lot in the Bout of Books. Yeah, Bout of Books readathon, and it was really good. I recommend it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I said it before and I'll say it again, I'm pretty sure it would have been a 5 out of 5 stars if I had been able to sit down and just read the book, but because I had to read it in parts and, you know, like sporadically, that wasn't the way the book was meant to be read. It's fast-paced, and I didn't get to read it the way it should have been read, and so it got 4 out of 5 stars, but I still highly, highly recommend it, and I am really looking forward to the rest of the series. And next, I have The One by Kiera Cass, which I also have signed. First, I have to say, I met Kiera Cass, and there could not be a more perfect author for these books. Her personality fits these books so well. It is adorable. But anyways, I really liked this book. I'm pretty sure I mentioned before how this book to me had to be divided into 2 sections, the romance and then the dystopian elements. And I loved the romance, and the dystopian elements I thought weren't completely wrapped up, but I respected the fact that that's how things probably would have ended up. And this book was about the selection, not about the dystopian world. It was about this one competition, and it was over. But I really enjoy these books. I completely understand and honestly agree with a lot of the complaints that a lot of people have, except for personally, I love America, the main character, America Singer. I love the things she did. Sometimes she wasn't the smartest about them, yes, but I would have done a lot of the same things she did. But I really do agree with a lot of the complaints that people had. The thing is that I expected them. Like the characters being idiots. It's a 17-year-old girl and 2 19-year-old boys. Of course they're going to be idiots when they're talking about love and marriage and romance. Like, duh, they're going to act like idiots. So I really enjoyed the book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I also gave the selection and the Elite 5 out of 5 stars. I loved the series. It isn't the most ridiculously thought-provoking book, but it does actually put some things out there, and it's really cute and giddy, and if you like contemporary, this is the perfect dystopian for you. Next, actually for graduation, I got Mageborn, The Final Redemption by Michael G. Manning. My mom actually worked with this author. He was a pharmacist before he started writing books, and now he's retired and just writes books. And I've read the first 4 in this series, and this is the last book, and I'm really excited to read it. It is about a wizard. It is about a wizard in this really crazy world, and I actually really love the world and the complexities of it all. The first book was actually self-published, and I definitely thought he could benefit from like a professional editor and just some sort of critiquer helping him write the book, but really the books overall are really good, and I would recommend them. Next, I'm not completely sure if I have hauled this next book or not already, but it is If I Stay by Gail Forman, and then I also picked up Where She Went by Gail Forman, which is the sequel in the duology. I had every intention of reading this book, I really did, but I was putting it off, and I hadn't gotten it yet. But then I saw the movie trailer and had to pick up this book, and I heard that this book needed to be read right after this book, so I got both of these books, and I'm excited about both of these. I will read this before the movie comes out. Next, I got the Lux series. I actually already had Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout, but I didn't want to read it because I was 99% sure that once I read this book, I'd want to dive right into the series, and I was right. So I got the other 3 books that are currently out: Onyx, Opal, and Origin. I have now read Obsidian and read Opal. Really liked Obsidian. It was right up my alley, but it was kind of predictable like every other book I read. But then I read Onyx, and I absolutely loved it. Read it really quickly. Just awesome book. Really got me into the series. And now I'm reading Opal, and I hope to finish Origin also this weekend. And yeah, so good. Next, I actually won some books from Epic Reads from their tea time videos, and that is Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta. And honestly, I'd never heard of this book before, but it has a nice little award here. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be good, and it sounds good. I just hadn't heard of it, and I'm excited about it, and thank you, Epic Reads. But the next book, when I put one, I thought I was only getting 1 book from Epic Reads, but no, I got 2. And second of all, the second book was Delirium by Lauren Oliver, and I've been wanting to get this book. I have been wanting this book so bad, but there's other books that I wanted to read before it, so it was kind of like, why buy that book now when I want to read these other books before it? But now I have it. I'm excited. The next books I ordered on Amazon, the next books I ordered online, one from Amazon, one from Barnes & Nobles, and I wanted these books for so long. I really have. They've been on my list, like my soon-to-read, next-to-read list for like ever. But I've been kind of putting them off because I can't find them anywhere, except for online. But then Ashley from Said the Story has read these books now, and she has been raving about them, and she is doing a read-along with a couple other booktubers. I'll link her video announcing it down below, and so I ordered them because I will read them. And it's basically read the books by June 8th, and you can join in on the live show. Anyways, I'm really excited. And those books are the first 2 books in the Lineburn Legacy series, trilogy, I think it's a trilogy. Anyways, Unspoken and Untold by Sarah Reese Brennan, and I'm so excited about these books. What I know about these books is this girl has had this like really good friend in her head for years. People think it's an imaginary friend, some people just think she has a great imagination, some people think she's crazy, but she has this friend that only exists in her head, until maybe he doesn't just exist in her head. Honestly, another reason why I was hesitant to buy this book is because I like these covers, and I'll show you the paperback cover here of Unspoken, and they match, and I really like them, and I honestly didn't really like this cover on the computer screen. I got this book in the mail, and oh my god, it is actually a gorgeous cover. I don't know if you can see, but it's like gold leaves that sparkle. It's actually a really pretty cover, and I'm so glad I got this cover. I'm so glad. So glad. It looks gorgeous. And then Untold is also really pretty. I was surprised at how pretty I thought this one was. But okay, That's all the books I have. Until next week when I go to BOOKCON, and I'll have tons more. But I'll have another book haul for that. Until then,